Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Leo full moon reading of 2023. I can't believe that we're already in February, which is hilarious because to me, January was both really long and really fast all at the same time. Like it was just went really super fast, but there were some moments there that were like very questionable. Am I going to get through this? Am I going to get through this? Yes, we all did. Here we are. We have the Leo full moon coming for sure. If you guys didn't know or haven't seen, I did do February readings, some short February readings. They're probably anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. So there's the playlist up here. If you want to go check those out. And also the 6-month readings are also done. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the 6-month readings, be my guest to check those out as well to get more information on what's going to be happening for the first half of this year. So I almost didn't like the time is so weird to me right now. I almost didn't think that I was going to get to this reading because first of all, it's Friday and I thought that the full moon was tomorrow because the dates in my head were all messed up. And I just wasn't feeling very well yesterday. Like it was just, everything in my body just kind of hit me like a rock. Everything that's happening inside of my body kind of like hit me yesterday. And I get very strange symptoms from this cancer. And I know a lot of people don't really want to hear about this. So, but a lot of people ask how I'm doing. And so let's just talk about that for a minute. I'm well. I'm actually feeling better now than I was the previous 6 months, like at the end of last year, probably from like midsummer until the end of the year was really hard. And so we had to make some decisions on my medication because, my medication was giving me low quality of life. And so we're now working to get the right dosage with different medications. And that's not an easy thing to do because we want to be able to allow me to have the best quality of life that I can, especially now because I'm young still and the disease hasn't progressed to the point to where it's time to get a bone marrow transplant. We're going to start looking for matches though. So if you're under 40, I'm going to put the link underneath this. If you're under 40 and you want to save a life, could be my life that you save. You can go to bethematch.org. And again, I'll put that in my description box because I will eventually need a bone marrow transplant. And it's just this disease is very weird. It's basically a chronic leukemia. And so it's a long-term blood cancer. And so I have good days and I have bad days. And especially when we're trying to get the medications right. And, I don't want to be on a medication that's going to make me feel worse than the disease makes me feel. But, we've taken me off of the really high doses and all of the symptoms came back, in the last few days, probably maybe the last week. All the symptoms came back. My platelets are really high again. So we're having to make some tough decisions and work through all of these things. Meanwhile, I got a lot of rest yesterday and I got a lot of rest last night and I'm feeling better today. And I like to take advantage of the days that I feel good. Like it's not that's not a question in my mind. Like I have a very hard time just being laying around. So when I wasn't feeling well last year and all I could do was lay around, it was like torture. That's torture for me. Having a Virgo with Mars in her 10th house, being laying around. That is probably one of the most torturous things that you could do. So I like being busy. I love working with you guys. I love being able to do personal readings and being able to do the monthly readings. And I just, I'm trying not to push myself, so I can continue doing my job and do it well for you guys. So enough about me. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update because I've had a lot of questions for that. If you want to fast forward, it will not, I won't feel bad if you fast forward through all of that. But I had a lot of questions and people asked me how I was feeling in the comments and stuff on the videos through February. So I appreciate everybody's concern and love and support. Let's talk astrology. Okay, so we have this full moon happening on Sunday morning. It'll be 11:27 a.m. Mountain Time. So it'll be 1:27 p.m. for Eastern Time, and it'll be 10:27 a.m. for Pacific Time. And the full moon will be happening at 16 degrees and 40 seconds. So actually, if you're a person that likes to look at degrees, one of the things that astrologers, we all do is we round up. So if it's past the 30-second mark, if this tiny number down here that I'm circling is past the 30-second mark, we round up to the next degree. So this would technically be a 17 degree full moon. I was doing the sun up here, but we're looking at the moon. So this Leo full moon down here. Right now, we're under the Cancer moon as she becomes like into her full, she's waxing to her full phase. We're in the Cancer moon, and I just looked at the chart just now, what's happening right now as I'm doing this. And we had the moon opposite Mercury, and then we have the moon almost opposite Pluto, probably in a few hours. She'll be opposite Pluto. So there's probably there's going to be some pretty intense talks, some, like you may be sitting down with loved ones and having some pretty intense discussions. You may feel like there's a lot of emotional transmutation happening. I sort of feel like I was transmuting a lot of junk yesterday through my body, which is something that I do as a 12th house Virgo stellium. That's just part of my life. I've always been transmuting the collective energies through my own body. And sometimes it's really painful. So today, going into tomorrow, it will feel better as the moon transitions into Leo tomorrow afternoon. But right now, or it's actually going to be probably overnight, I think, is when the moon transitions to the Leo moon into her full stage. Some pretty interesting aspects with this full moon. You can see here we have this triangle effect happening with squares and opposition. This is going to make things really, like, everything is changing. We have the suns will be square Uranus. That will be exact tomorrow. So on Saturday, the sun is going to be squaring Uranus, and then the moon will square Uranus just before she hits her full phase Sunday morning. So the emotional upheaval of a moon square Uranus and the changes, you may find that life sort of speeds up a little bit tomorrow. You don't want to do anything of the norm tomorrow. You may find that those arguments or those discussions that happen today with that Cancer full moon, basically almost full moon, opposition to Pluto, those discussions kind of move into tomorrow and could also cause some turmoil. So really standing firm. This full moon is about being courageous. This full moon is about resilience. And if we think about what the Strength card represents, and how, it's really a taming of the ego quite often when we're looking at that Strength card. I know resilience has become kind of a dirty word. We've talked a little bit about that. And to be quite honest, you guys, if I wouldn't have the resiliency that I gained in my own life, I have a couple Leo placements in my chart, by the way. If I hadn't gained that resiliency, if I hadn't found that courage and that strength, I don't know if I would have been able to get through what I'm going through right now. So resiliency is actually not a super dirty word. And it's unfortunate the ways that the things that we have to go through to get there. And I know that some people get really, really tired getting to that resilient point of life, but life was never promised to be easy. We can make it easier on ourselves, but the actions and the things that happens outside of us, we can't control the things that are happening outside of us. We can if we take responsibility of our stuff, but not everything. We can't control everything that's happening outside of us. So there's this courageousness with this full moon to make changes in your life. You have a choice. You have many choices. Every single choice that you're making for yourself right now can either help push you forward or it can help you stay stuck where you are. Some of you may have opportunities to be able to leave the situation that you're currently in or to be able to change the situation that you're currently in. But the idea of change can be kind of frightening sometimes. So this full moon is sort of helping push us along, maybe forcing that push along. We're also going to see Venus square Mars. Now, Venus is going to square Mars tomorrow when the sun is square Uranus. So Venus will be square Mars exact tomorrow on Saturday, the day before the full moon. And the sun will be square Uranus the day before the full moon. And that can be very volatile energy. Yes, Venus is in Pisces, but Mars is in Gemini. And we all know Mars has been in Gemini since August. You guys, like Mars has been in Gemini since August. That's been exhausting for a lot of people. I will tell you that I've had Mars transiting my 9th house through this Gemini transit. And I noticed like exactly when it started, when Mars went direct, I started buying a whole bunch of books and I just wanted to like soak up every book. Like I want to learn zodiacal releasing now. Like, like I want to learn everything that I can possibly learn in my shamanic apprenticeship, like everything. Bring me all of the information that I can learn so I can soak it up. So there have been some good moments with Mars direct in Gemini. It's really nice that he's moving forward now and, you know, not really like staying stuck. He's still in his post shadow period. So just keep an eye on that energy for sure. But this is going to be a pretty explosive time. We do have Mercury only 6 degrees away from Pluto. So Mercury is going to be, it's next week, Mercury will conjunct Pluto. And so there's going to be some super, super, super intense energies around discussions and stability. Like could even be money, could have a lot to do with money discussions as well. But yes, like really pay attention to your ego during this time. Leo often represents our egoic interests. The 5th house is the ruler of Leo and the sun rules Leo. So, you know, really at the core of who we are, you know, this could be an extra creative time. This could be a time for you to really show yourself how strong you are and how far you've come, but it might happen. For some of you, it might happen through arguments with other people. You may have, you know, discussions with other people. We'll have Mercury sextile Neptune. So sometimes those discussions aren't always going to be obvious. Sometimes those discussions aren't all, you know, this could be something where you're trying to have a conversation with someone and it ends up becoming an argument because you guys aren't understanding each other. Mercury sextile Neptune, and Mercury will sextile Neptune exact on Monday. So the day after the full moon. It may be a time where you sort of need to clean the messes up of the full moon, or you need to start getting creative after the full moon, whatever the full moon revealed to you. And then we also have Chiron sextile Mars, and Mars will be sextile Chiron exact later next week as we get closer, as we move further into the week, because Mars is still moving kind of slow. So it'll probably be, I think it's on Tuesday. Don't quote me on that, but I do think it's on Tuesday that Mars will be sextile Chiron. So the wounding, but we still feel this because it's only a degree away during the full moon. So, this is a great time for you to be able to take action on healing those wounds. Chiron is not just the wounded healer. Chiron is where we find our strength through healing the wounds, especially while it's in Aries. And Jupiter is only 6 degrees away from Chiron as well. So this, that whole action of being able to spiritually heal our wounds and find our strength through healing those wounds is going to be pretty evident too. But there could be a lot of projections from people. This could be like a spitfire, fireball, if you will. I know that that's a little, like, okay, Betsy, it's a Leo moon, fire reference, but this could be a really fiery full moon. And, I think that we're going to be really looking at like, I need to make changes so that I can redefine myself. I need to make changes so that I don't feel so restricted in the way that things are working for me, or I don't feel like I'm being held down. I've never met a Leo that was held down by anything, to be quite. And in fact, every single Leo that I've known was extreme. Like my youngest son, who's 9, he's autistic. And man, he has his moments, but I want to look at him sometimes and just be like, you are the brightest star in the sky, because he really is. He just will shine on no matter what's going on in his life. He'll help other people. He's got such a great heart. So take care of yourselves, take care of your people and your loved ones during this time. If you have arguments with anybody, like I don't hope that anybody does, but if that comes up because of changes that are happening in your life, check your ego. Always check your ego first. I always have to ask myself, if I'm, if I'm in a discussion that turns into an argument, I always have to ask myself, is my ego involved in this discussion, or have I left it at the door so that I can like talk to people from where they're coming from and not thinking that I know better? Okay. Always, always, always. And this is something that I've learned, you guys, because I didn't always do this. I always thought that people needed to like hurry up and catch up to me. Like, be on my level, be on my level. I don't want to leave you behind. Get on my level. And, but meeting people where they are and helping them and holding their hand and saying, I'm walking with you, instead of projecting your fears that they're not going to be walking with you, or projecting your fears onto them that they're not going to reach their highest potential. What does that mean to you? There's nothing that you can do to help others reach their highest potential. They have to do that for themselves. And do you know how they do that? Strength, resilience. That's how they reach their highest potential. They notice just how amazing they are. And you may be a stepping stone there, but if you are not allowing all of that to unfold, it can be a really big restriction. So, and there are a lot of restrictions coming with this full moon. So focus on your own. Focus on where you are in your own restriction and work on that, and let everybody work on theirs as well, and meet people where they are. Don't force people. Okay. Let's see what it is that we are surrendering during this full moon. Deep breaths. There it is. Absolutely. Surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. I love that. So really finding some quiet in all of the roar that's going on, really finding some quiet. That'll probably be helpful for you as well. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we had the right settings here. I'm like 20 minutes into the reading. See, okay. Love, love, love. Oh, love is in the air. I just thought as I turned all of these over, that Venus square Mars that's happening tomorrow. We probably sort of feel it a little bit today too, but it's happening tomorrow. And there may not even be arguing, there may not even be fighting, there may just be changes in relationships that need to happen in order for things to evolve. I have the Two of Cups, I have the Three of Wands, and I have the Lovers. For a lot of you, you are waiting for that perfect match for you. For a lot of you, you feel that perfect match very close, like several months before I met my partner. I even tweeted about him like a month before he and I started talking to each other, but I tweeted about, that I'm not manifesting a relationship. I'm letting the relationship be attracted to me. I'm letting the other person be attracted to me. I'm not trying to like rush a relationship, but I could feel him coming. And to be quite honest, I always sort of knew that he existed because I felt it in my heart. I knew that there was another person out there that would understand me in that kind of way. And I felt it in my heart. And I feel so I'm telling you that story because that's what I feel like this Two of Cups, Three of Wands, and Lovers is. Now with the Lovers card, I don't often just go directly to a relationship, that kind of expands through space and time. But, a lot of times I like to look at the Lovers as our masculine and feminine energies coming together for ourselves. And then once that happens, there's almost like this like beacon of light that kind of like comes out of us. And then our person can see us, they can find us through that beacon of light. But really elevating ourselves by creating that balance of energy inside of us. And that may be what this full moon is doing for you. It may be taking some things out of your life because you've been waiting for better things to show up. It may take a relationship out of your life. It may take a job out of your life. Wherever it is in your own chart, there, may be some indications that you are making space in your life for new things to come in. So let's see, the Two of Cups. Yes. Lovers. There we go. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. So for some of you, there is a heaviness within a relationship. And it may even be that some of you are breaking off a relationship during this time to open yourself up to more, or open yourself up to something different. And you're very focused. So let's look at these. So we have the Four of Swords and the Seven of Wands, clarifying the Two of Cups. There's some kind of healing and boundary that we're putting up when it comes to any kind of relationship in our life, to be quite honest. There looks like a boundary. Now, with the Seven of Wands, we can often slip into putting walls up instead. It can be like a whole gigantic wall that we're putting up. Nobody can cross it. Nobody can do anything with it. And then the Four of Swords here is about the healing. So you may have had a wall up during this healing time You may be very specific. I don't want to have anybody come in. I don't want any relationships to come in. I don't. And that works for a lot of people. It really does. Like it works, you know, I don't want to have any men in my life. I don't want to have any women in my life, whatever it is, whatever desire you have, men or women. This feels very much like I'm really setting my boundaries. I'm very focused on what I want to bring into my life. And that's the best that I can do for myself. Very focused. Okay. And then we have the 10 of Wands. So I'm sorry, we have the Queen of Swords on the 3 of Wands. So there's a massive focus. The Queen of Wands is somebody who, you know, she means what she says and she says what she means. We're in Aquarius season right now. And, you know, Aquarians are really known for being a little bit, they're just super creative and, you know, their minds are just so expansive. Like Aquarians and Sagittarians are kind of on that same line where every single opportunity that comes their way, like they're geniuses at whatever comes up and whatever happens. So if you're in that mode right now where you're like, I am focusing on the opportunities that are coming to me and I don't want any distractions, that's what this feels like. And part of those distractions that you don't want, you've kind of put a wall up on. And, you know, as much as healing as that is, and I, you know, I'm a big fan of isolation when healing because we truly need to be with ourselves to know what it is that we're dealing with, what we're healing and where we're coming from. So I'm a big fan of isolation, but not forever, you know, and closing your heart off will close off other opportunities. So what I've learned for myself, and you don't have to do the same thing, but for me, what works for me is loving myself keeps my heart open. And this is good. This full moon is going to be a perfect time to practice loving on yourself and practice those affirmations of love for yourself. Practice, you know, I think I've said to you guys this, you know, I've said this to you guys before, but when I was like, right before I met my partner and I was really loving on myself, I made a playlist in 2020. I didn't meet my partner until the end of 2021, but I made a playlist. It was like right during the lockdowns. And I'm like, this is going to be a perfect time for me to not be distracted. You know, I don't need to deal with anything else that's going on. And so I made a playlist that was called A Love Song to Me. And I put all of the songs that I heard on the radio, all of the songs that other people sent to me, that made me feel powerful and strong. That's what went on that playlist. And I listened to it when I was out jogging in the morning. And I listened to it like during the, you know, all this time. I didn't realize that what I was doing, like, yes, I was opening my heart to my partner, but I was also opening my heart so much to myself that when I found out that I had cancer, I could handle it. I could deal with it. And I could realize how much anger I had been holding on to because I had loved myself so much that it all came pouring out. And I was able to heal all of that as well. So getting madly in love with yourself, becoming madly in love, passionately in love with yourself, making your favorite dinners, like, and it doesn't even have to be an outside thing. Sitting with yourself, talking to yourself. Like, I know that sounds weird and you should be thrown into an asylum, Betsy. Too late. I've already been in one a couple times. And I still talk to myself sometimes, but sitting with yourself and journaling and really allowing yourself to love, because the next thing that we have, the 10 of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the 3 of Swords on the Lovers. There is a burden that you have been carrying because of this King of Pentacles. And it doesn't have to be an earth sign. It's just a masculine energy, whatever, you know, this could be your masculine energy too. And you've been carrying around this hurt within your own masculine energy for a really long time. But I'm here to tell you that that time is almost over. And this heartache we're going to be stitching it up. But this full moon may reveal some very burdensome, painful experiences to help you push along, to help you to get to that last, push up that mountain with this 10 of Wands. A 10 is a completion. You don't have to carry the burden anymore. And if this is a reading, maybe you're recognizing that how much of a burden your partner is taking on, and it's time for you to, help them as well. If you recognize the burdens that they're taking on and that they need some assistance as well. But this feels like a heartbreak. This feels like for some of us, we're going through a heartbreak. For some of us, we're recognizing that we are carrying the load for both ourselves and our partners. And if we can't sit down and discuss that, and there's going to be ample opportunities for that to happen, but if we can't sit down and discuss that, then there's, without our egos being involved in the constant battle, sometimes our egos need to be involved because we need to say, I deserve better. I don't deserve to be held down like this. I don't deserve to be restricted like this, because this feels very much like a restriction. So healing with a heart open, allowing things to come in. I understand that you want to be focused on what it is that you're focusing on, and that's fantastic. And I'm happy for a lot of you to be focusing on what you need to be focusing on without the distractions. But recognize that there's no victimhood here. And there's going to be a lot of people. My phone is not on do not disturb. Sorry. We're almost done though. The victimhood has been very loud. And as Saturn moves into Pisces, I can't say that it's going to end completely, because really a lot of it's going to end when Neptune moves into Aries. There's not going to be any more there will be, but in smaller doses than there have been. Like, everybody thinks that they're a victim of the circumstances on the news and and I felt that heaviness pretty hard last week. It just felt like everything was weighing on me. And that might have been why I was transmuting a lot of the collective energy yesterday, along with my own stuff as well. But this full moon is going to be extremely revealing to us. And it's going to come a lot from, are you being honest with your own self? Are you showing up for your own self? Are you showing up for your own heart, or are you constantly showing up for someone else and healing other people and not showing up for yourself? It'll be apparent. That question will be extremely apparent through this full moon. So I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for another full moon reading. I love you all. I still have some appointments on my calendar for February. My Saturn in Pisces reading, and I do have synastry and composite relationship readings. It doesn't have to be for a romantic relationship. It could also be partnership, business partnerships, friendships, stuff like that. You could do a synastry or composite. Even, I've had some parents do them with their children as well, to kind of see, because a composite reading can kind of tell you what your mission is with someone. Not kind of, it can tell you sort of what your mission is in this life with another person. So it's pretty cool. That's on my website. And my regular tarot readings are there as well. I have a soul's oracle reading. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Check it out. I love you guys. Bye.